everyone, it's Shel C from PaperOcotilloStudio. Today I'm sharing with you a page in a different junk journal than the one I've been using recently. This journal was made out of the envelopes, the card envelopes that I get stencils in from Stencil Go products. They're not very bendable. They don't send them in paper envelopes. They send them in like this card stock stuff, heavy tag board stuff. And I cut that up and made this journal using a method that I watched Dina Wakley do. And I think I have a video, so I will put it in the iCard up above where you hover over the upper right corner of the screen and you can get that link. It was attached together using washi tape, which I used the fabric kind of washi tape to put it together. But you put it, I can't even explain it. You'd have to watch it on video. So hopefully I can find that video for you guys if you want to construct one of these out of some cardboard junk that you have. And then it just has some white gesso and some scraps of tissue and napkin glued into it. This was a method that Dina Wakley also recommended. And so it's just, stuff that you have leftover bits and pieces of paper to make something colorful on there. And this one still has 5 pages left in it, and I need to finish it. I make books and then I don't finish them. I like to make the books and then I just never finish them. So there is, after this one, still 4 more pages that I can do, but I've already done like 6 or something. So I want to finish the book. I figured it would be fun. And when I was flipping through the book, I saw this page that has some polka dots on it, punched out dots or something, and those were from some scraps of tissue paper that I had that had small dots and bigger dots, and so that's glued down on there with gesso. And I thought, why not just spend my playtime today making an art journal page with dots? So I got out a couple punches, I got out some dies to make some slightly larger, and then I also have a little drawer. I have this thing on my desk that has all these little drawers like you should sort nails and screws and washers and things in, like in the shop, but I have it in my studio and it just has stuff in it. Like there's a drawer that is full of used postage stamps, and this one drawer is filled with little punched out circles. I don't know where they came from, but there they are. So I also have a couple printed out pages of colorful circles, and I think I got them from Kate Crane, but I'm not sure if that's 100% true, but I think it is. And they're printed out on the laser printer, and then I just threw them in a pile, and like, oh, these are cute. So I decided to use some of those too. So I die cut a couple circles, a few circles to start out with the larger size and then moving to smaller sizes. One of the papers that I'm using, a friend of mine sent me some mail or a card or something, and she drew all over the outside of the envelope. She took some time to do that. I mean, it's very decorative. It has my name on it. It has PaperOcotilloStudio on it. And so I just opened up the envelope and saved it to use the paper. So these ones that have like kind of the Zentangling in the writing that says Shel C, that's from a friend of mine, Rennie, and I'm just cutting the circles out of that envelope paper. I also had a scrap of packaging, and that one up in the right-hand corner that's got kind of the yellow, orange, pink, that was from a piece of packaging. I think it might have been gel press packaging. I don't know. But it's a light colorful paper. I don't throw away stuff. If there's pretty pattern on paper that's going to be thrown in the trash, I don't throw it away. I just sort it into, I have, ways of sorting by color, and I save all the different paper. That little punched out circle has a bird, and it says something about, what does it say? Sweet leaf or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, that was in the bin there. There's a couple ones that are like little circles that you use to protect a hole that's been punched, like when you're putting them in a three-ring binder, you want to save the holes. There's some of those in there. They're just all kinds of stuff. So I'm not thinking too much at this point about composition or color or anything. I'm just putting them down. I noticed there's some pretty high contrast ones that have black. I've got some turquoise, but then there's a lot of, there are different weights of paper. Some of them are cardstock. Some of them are thinner papers. Some of them are even seem to be punched out of like tissue or deli paper. And I'm just grabbing some and gluing them down. That's all it is. And I started with larger ones, moved to smaller ones, moved to even smaller ones so that I could just cover this page with all kinds of circles. Who doesn't love a good circle? I mean, really. Circles are awesome. I don't know why. I don't know why circles, maybe because they're so inclusive or they're, I don't know. People just, that's a symbolism that lots and lots and lots and lots of people like. And I'm one of those people. So it was fun today to just sit down with the junk journal, glue down a bunch of circles, punch out a few, grab some from, a different piece of paper, die cut some. It was fun. It was just real fun. So I'm just about done gluing them all down to the page. I did let some of them run off the page so that the composition doesn't look like it's all crowded. You try to make everything fit in a space, it looks very crowded. So you let them go off the edge and then go around the edge of the book and trim them off. It's no big deal. I'm using Liquitex matte gel medium. That's my favorite collage medium. Here's one of those pages that I printed out on my laser printer at some point. That's the ones that I think came from Kate Crane, but I think so. She often demonstrates for, I don't remember if it's Jelly Arts or Gel Press, but she has quite a few videos. She probably has her own channel. She maybe offered these as like a little freebie thing. So I don't know. I just, for some reason, I have it in my head. That's where they came from. I could be completely wrong. It's very possible. But there was a couple different sizes, these little ones. I didn't have a punch that was small enough to punch out the little ones. And I didn't want to just sit there and one by one by one by one cut them out with my die cut. There was a small enough die cut that I could do that, but I just didn't feel like doing that. So I thought, why not just leave them in a strip? Why not? You could leave them in a strip and put them on there too. They're still circles. So before I went to my next layer, I decided, of course, this is mixed media. There's going to be lots of layers. Things on top of things on top of things. We've already got lots of things on top of things here, but I wanted to do some integration and I thought it might be fun to just do a little bit of finger painting. So I got some lemon yellow, some lime green, a pink, and a sky blue. Those are all Dina Wakley paints. And then I got some titanium white to mix it with, and I'm just kind of filling in and integrating everything, trying to make it, right now it's very chaotic. I mean, it is crazy. There's nothing to look at. It's all one thing, one crazy chaos thing, and your eye is not drawn to any one thing. So I wanted to kind of calm it down a little bit to see what I thought maybe focal images might be on here, right? Still don't know what I'm doing. I'm just at this point painting and filling in and calming down and just trying to get something like this that's just so crazy like this with so many different colors and patterns and shapes and explosion. It's not calming to the mind at all. It doesn't soothe your eyes because your eyes are trying to hop everywhere. So you are going to need something to focus on. And that kind of became the theme of the page. Peg and I are going to be teaching one more class in the Art Joy classroom, and it's about design, delving into design, kind of a beginner's guide to how we design and think about our art. Some composition ideas, some thoughts about that type of stuff, and we're each going to be teaching 2 Saturdays, and it's all going to be in May. If you are interested in that class, you can go with the link below. I'll link it. It's pegarobinson.com, and you can sign up for the class. It's not going to be super complex, more of our ideas about how we get ideas about design, I guess. And for this page, when I just randomly had an art play day and I went crazy with all these different circles, Now I need to think about design and think about focal images and think about how I'm going to draw it back into something that's pleasing and interesting and more calm. So after I've put all that finger painting on, I said to myself, well, that didn't really help. I mean, it's still chaos, right? It did calm it down a little bit, make it more cohesive, but it's not enough. So I decided that I did need areas where your eye should look. And so I thought about my rules of composition, and I decided that I would use the outer parts of the die cut paper. This is the leftover part, to create 3 circle images across the page, kind of 2/3, 1/3 split across the page. And then I could also use these little circles that I cut into strip as part of my focal area as well. So I glued all those down, and now I've kind of focused in already. Now I'm starting to focus in on a certain part of the page. And I really liked that area that said Shel C on it and had some of the zing-tangling drawing on it. I circled that with this outer part of the paper, which actually has some lines on it too. That was from some packaging. And then I thought what I really need to do is just calm down the rest of it. So I decided to put a glazing layer over it, and I thought, what color should I make it? Should it just be white? Should it be, what one of these colors do I want to focus in on here? There's so many colors, it's crazy. And I decided blue. Now blue's not a color I use very often, and I don't know what even made me decide blue, but I put some blue acrylic paint and then some glazing medium. Now glazing medium is a fluid acrylic paint with no pigment. So it's basically just clear paint. And it helps you to make something thinner and more translucent. So if you're going to use a paint that's not translucent, that is opaque, it's just going to cover everything up. Well, I spent all that time putting all that pattern and shape on there. I don't want to completely cover it up, but I do want to push it. I want to push it back and let these other circles be the ones that you see first. So I just glazed that blue over all the rest of the background that was distracting. And then if I thought I got too much glaze on there, I wiped it back a little bit. I did want in my design a little bit of vertical to go with my horizontal, so I put some more of those circle strips, excuse me, up at the top in a vertical way, just because that vertical and horizontal makes me happy. That's something that I enjoy. So I didn't go too crazy, try to make them straight, cut them on, a choppy thing to make all the lines straight. I cut them out with scissors. Doesn't matter if it's, I wanted a little bit of imperfection because this page is about trying to focus your brain. So then I had some stamps that I pulled out when I thought of my theme of circle. I had some circle stamps and I have some paint left over. So I'm using a couple of those stamps. These are from Stampin' Up. I will go over to eBay and I'll try to find these stamps that I'm using today for you over on eBay and put some links. Of course, if you're watching this a year from now, today's April 21st, 22. If you're watching it in 2026, those links aren't going to be good anymore. People will have sold the stamps. But for right now, if you're watching it today, there'll be some links down below. Also to some of the other products I use, like the glue and brushes and paints and different things that I used. I'll put some links below the video for you because people say they like them, even though I wonder if anybody actually looks at them. Now this is another stamp from the same set. Stampin' Up puts their stamps in sets that go together. And it's just a solid circle, and I thought I might like some more of that pink. I think that pink and blue go together really well, so I thought maybe a little bit of pink. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm ready to dry it down and make sure that any of my finishing writing with pens and things will not ruin my pens. I liked the circle, circle, circle thing from that one cut out piece, and so I decided to repeat that with a Posca pen and go around the other circles so that they all have some like kind of wonky, circly lines around them. And then I thickened up some of the lines, not all the lines, but some of the lines with a India ink brush called a Pentel pocket brush. This one dries permanent because it is India ink. So wonky, scratchy looking circles around the other circles. And that really does start to make you focus, right? That right there is probably the number one thing I did to make you focus into a certain area. Then I have a fatter Posca pen and I did some dots, some white dots. I think that's really fun. I like to dot with that bigger pen. I don't know why. It's very satisfying though to make dots. Not sure, but I like it. So I put a few dots on my page with that. That's acrylic ink, very opaque acrylic ink inside a pen, so it goes over the top of all the rest of the acrylic and it doesn't show through. So then I found this other piece of paper that I had grabbed and I saw that it had the word focus on it. And I thought, well, that's perfect. That's perfect. It was really interesting font. I don't know if it's somebody's handwriting or what, but I cut it out of that other piece. I printed it out from somewhere. I don't know where. Don't even ask. I don't know. But I thought that would be perfect to put on there. I was happy with the circle on the right, so I left that one alone. I put focus on the left, and then I decided, well, what do you need to focus? You need an eyeball, right? It's hard to focus. I mean, you can focus your mind, but if you're focusing in on looking at something, you're going to need an eyeball. So I drew an eye in the middle of the three circles. And then the last thing I wanted to do, I had some stamps, and this whole time I was thinking about what short word could I stamp on there, because the stamps I wanted to use are an alphabet that's inside of little circles. And I thought, yeah, this month in Art Joy of Showing, we're doing hashtag AJOS creative lettering. And all through the month I've been showing different ways that I use letters or graphics about letters or words on my pages or on my art because I find them pleasing. Been doing it all month. So if you guys have been paying attention, you know already. And so I needed to use those stamps because they were circle stamps with letters. So I was thinking and thinking and thinking. I even asked the audience on the creative, on the live stream show that we were doing, what word they could think of that would go with focus. And I finally came up with one, and that is C. And what made me think of that is that I did a tag exchange one time, and the tag that I got back from Mary Beth Shaw, on Facebook, I couldn't just have Shel with the letter C, and so it's Shel C like you see on here. That's what my name is on Facebook because they won't let you just have an initial as your last name. So she put on the tag Shel SEEC, Shel C, like look, see something. And so I thought that would be a good short word that I could stamp on here with my circle letters. And so I did in black ink. That's a Versamark VersaFine pigment hybrid pad. So my page is done. The only other thing I did was to put some dark gray ink around the edges just to kind of box it in a little bit. I like that look. If you've enjoyed this, please remember to give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment or question below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Join my channel membership for $1.99 a month for exclusive content. That's it for me. Thanks. Bye-bye.